So, I'm your Fasty for the day. I will be delivering this session with all of you on building great partnerships. And I'm Sumedha. Everyone calls me Sumi. And I'm the regional manager for BD for Asia Pacific for this term and the next year as well. And last year I was global digital marketing manager for partners. So I have like that experience of marketing and BD collaboration, which I will be talking about as well. Before that, I was MCVP marketing and finance for ISEC in Norway. And before that, I was LCP in ISEC in India of the LC called Patiala. And yeah, let's start. So the content for this session, how it's gonna be like, wait, let me just check the chat. Super. Okay. So content for this session is gonna be what do great partnerships look like and understanding how BD connects with your role and also some of the common challenges that BD is currently facing, not just BD, but partnerships in general and how we can tackle them as all the profiles that are present in this call today. And also some stories from the region and supporting BD better. So when I think about great partnerships and also something that is in the news right now, is this duo. And I would like to ask from you if you know them, why do you think they make a great partnership? Waiting, diversity, yes. Vision alignment, yes. What else? Similar ideologies, relevant, common interest, values, they grow together. Great vision, amazing. Synergy, yes, amazing. Yes, exactly. You all get the point. So it's basically that they complement each other so well. And another thing is also that where we feel that, or where one person is probably lacking, the other person makes for it. So it's like they complement each other really perfectly. And also the synergy and the common vision and how they can amplify each other's visions better. So in ISEC, I can also give you some examples about, ISEC and Mindvalley and Electrolux and ISEC. So when it comes to ISEC and Mindvalley, I think all of us are aware of this partnership. If you're not, if you're an LCP and you've not heard of it so far, it's okay. I'm going to brief you a little bit. So how ISEC supports Mindvalley's vision is basically ISECers actually constitute of the majority of the HR that Mindvalley has. So ISEC provides them with highly talented individuals that are eventually growing the vision of Mindvalley more. And Mindvalley in turn actually also provides ISEC with capacity building, with leadership development spaces, and all the courses that probably like the rest of the world is paying too much for, paying a lot for. And ISECers, they get benefited from this partnership. So we are all aligned in vision as well because it's in turn leadership development and capacity building. And also we are supporting each other in making each other's vision amplified. When it comes to Electrolux, so Electrolux is this huge brand, okay? And how Electrolux is supporting ISEC is again by merging or by collaborating their brand with ISEC and amplifying our brand. And when it comes to ISEC, in turn giving Electrolux is actually with our GT exchanges and also the sustainability initiatives that we launched together with this partnership. So in turn, as you see, like it's common vision, but also in terms of common vision, it's also how we can amplify each other's strategies better wherever it connects. So there is this common thing, and also because there are a lot of profiles present in this call. So you usually would have a BD responsible already on your team. But does that mean that BD is not your job? Wrong. BD is not just bringing in money, BD is actually that partnerships mindset. And it is, again, there's going to be a dramatic statement at the end of the session, but it is actually everybody's role. It is actually everybody's responsibility how you can support ISEC, your entity, your LC better in actually bringing in more partnerships, bringing in more purposeful collaborations for your team, for your ISEC entities. So I would like to ask from you, what are some of our biggest challenges today that we are facing as maybe your LC, as ISEC, as your entities? Revenue, yes. Sustainability, yes. Ooh, partnership building capacities, yes. External relevance, yes. Creating long-term partnership branding uncertainty, no pipeline, yes. Amazing. I mean, it's not amazing, but thank you for the responses. So why we're having this session today actually is because every single issue that we're facing today can be directly or indirectly solved by partnerships. And why I said that BD is not just your BD person's responsibility, if you have a BD responsible on your team or not, but it's actually all of our mindsets that we have to be open to looking, okay, this is where we could possibly go for a collaboration with a like-minded brand or things like that. So just for us to have a simple overview, it's going to be basic. So when it comes to ICX, you know that you have your enablers. Without your enablers collaboration, you cannot do ICX because you won't have any projects. When it comes to OGX, your youth sources, this is where I said that it's not directly related to revenue, it's more related to partnerships. So your youth sources, which is like universities or more youth talent pools. Marketing is like-minded brands. MCPs, for MCP's role, it's going to be external relevance to your entity and also the financial sustainability. For LCP, external relevance to your committee, to your city, and also financial sustainability. Again, for TM, it's membership upskilling, like we discussed about the issue for pipeline. And when it comes to finance, again, it's revenue, of course. But one of the examples that I would also like to share with you from my MC term. So I was MCVP Marketing and Finance in ISEC in Norway, and it is a relatively smaller entity. And we were in like not such a sound financial state at that point of time. And we were looking for ways to kind of be prepared for some uncertainty, for some challenges that might occur because we were in a very fragile financial state. So what we looked for was we went to our alumni base. We looked for people who were working with disaster or like risk assessment roles. And we had a person who was working with Accenture, and then they actually chaired our planning process for financial planning. And that made us ready for the coming year and also made us aware of, okay, these are going to be the months where you will need to really be prepared for. There might not be a cash flow because you're a small entity again. So it's things like this where you really need to keep your eyes open. And when it comes to marketing as well, like I said, so last year I was responsible for global digital marketing for partners. And marketing and BD, usually we would think that they do not go that well together, but actually there is so much possibility. There is such a good connection between these two departments that if you look at Electrolux's partnership today with ISEC, earlier what used to happen was it was more GT centric. But today, if you look at this global partnership, it's more employer branding centric. And it is only possible because we were able to look at it from a digital marketing's perspective. And if you look at it again from today's state that we are in right now, exchanges are not that easy to do anymore. So what you can look for is, again, virtual engagements. And how you can do that is being, again, that much more open-minded to all kinds of partnerships that you can probably form. Let me check the chat. Okay, and also throw back to Lorena's session yesterday on the ISEC 2025. One of the parts of ISEC 2025 is also developing purposeful partnerships. And the vision for that is that by 2025, we want to build and keep long-term partnerships that enable growth. And it's not just for revenue. Of course, it is for revenue for sure, but it's also to amplify our impact and create value for both young people and partners. So we are not just having partners that just give young people the opportunities, but how can we also be the enablers for our partners' visions, for our partners' strategies for the coming years? And by delivering on our promises, we make ISEC a first choice partner for leadership development. And again, as Lorena said, that in the coming years, it might be a possibility that we will have more products. We will have more products, and not all the products that we will have will involve exchanges. So we need to be open to all these kinds of possibilities. So I'm going to break you out in 10 minutes for 10 minutes, and it's going to be a mixed session. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, I'm going to break you in eight to nine participants per room, and you're going to have 4 questions to answer and discuss with each other. And just to also sense what is your awareness about BD or partnerships in general in your team, in your entity, and when was the last time you and your BD discussed about how to support each other better? So I'm going to break you out now. And yeah, let me check the chat. Okay. See you in 10 minutes.
In like virtual like webinars and like how like, businesses will engage with youth, because I think a lot of people are learning about how to better work with Gen Z people. I think that was something was happening with Malaysia essentially. So I thought it was pretty cool that we're all quite aligned in terms of the way we're reaching out to companies, in terms of like we're reaching out for them to like do webinars or talks with us essentially. I think something an interesting conversation we had was like how we're looking to diversify our revenue through different means, such as like whether it be like getting companies to host events with us, such as case competitions, or like developing UI relationships with with like universities, such as like I think I made a suggestion like doing a social impact report, because a lot of universities care about that stuff, but they don't have the like manpower to do it. So I thought it would be really cool if we as an ISEC can actually provide that service to them and be very valuable and help develop relationships with the university. So yeah, I think that was a good way to I think it's more PD than BD, but yeah, something similar. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, next up is Ayush.
Yeah. Thank you for the space. So we discussed about the various problems that we were facing as different countries and entities and LCs. We also discussed about the pandemic situation where we can't offer anything concrete to the partners virtually in the events. So we discussed about how Indonesia is tapping an insurance company, how it used to tap an insurance company to provide insurance to the repeats, but right now they have changed the partnership to make it more feasible. So it was, I think, a very good idea that I liked a lot. So the conclusion was we need to change our processes. We need to tap more partners who are interested in virtual engagements, and we need to think what can we deliver virtually to them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have space for one more sharing. Javid, next is you.
Yeah, right. So I think for us, we had a really good discussion. We understood like how some things were similar, but some things were very different. Specifically, like I personally speaking, I got really good ideas about how you can diversify things in terms of partnerships and how to maintain partnership loyalty. Like someone, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting the name, but there was this person from Japan who was in our group, and she talked about how they've always had loyal partnerships, which is a very interesting thing because this is something that I think a lot of Indian entities really do struggle with. So that was a very good idea. And also like the MCP from New Zealand was there, and they were discussing about how they've had like various different kind of partnerships and the kind of perks that they've been able to take from this. So it was a very interesting discussion for sure. Yes, we did discuss bottlenecks, but I think more of our discussion was to see what kind of diverse things different entities were doing, which is a very, very good topic to take up, I feel. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that sharing. I would like to hear from one of the MCPs. You can just unmute yourselves.
Yeah, I can go. Like if
Amazing.
yeah. Maybe I would go for like more into synergy part. So like so basically in the past years as well, like we used to have like our main BD activities are just going for event partnership, like yeah, hosting USpeak forum, hosting eWar event, and then like basically we kind of raise partnership, very short term partnership. So like basically it's more the really one shot revenue, and then like we don't get it anymore. Like we are not able to like manage our account, and very hard to re-raise it again. That's one of the challenge. Meanwhile, this year we tend to like go more into like 3 parts, let's say. So like first, it's about like revamping the portfolio, since like exchange or our main revenue is no longer able to be generated. So basically, what we started doing is more into like we kind of like list out everything which we could monetize. So basically, all the way from like member recruitment until like MCP, election, like everything, and then like we package into like both short term and long term. So long term, it's more into 1 year, what is that, like annual partnership, and the like first semester quarterly based partnership or semester based partnership. Also, yeah, we are also like doing kind of like digital virtual events, and we do kind of one shot raising. And also on the other hand, what we kind of like synergize with the ICX team, IGV and IGT team, and we do like sales capacity building. So like all the way from theoretical parts, simulation, and like delivery, educational delivery, and so on. And one of the how to say, let's say challenge, as well as our kind of key improvement area, is that so currently like BD is just stuck in the MC level, but meanwhile on the ground, like LCs, LCP elects are also here, like LC's insights or LC's ideas are also very useful. Like some of them are very creative, and even MC is not able to like kind of like brainstorm and so on. So like definitely we need to have like two-way brainstorming or two-way creativity, so that actually we are able to cope with this current situation towards the next semester, let's say. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that sharing. Okay, we can proceed. Let me just fix it. Okay. So this is going to be the thing that you're going to hear a lot this year, that BD is hard today. And if you remember, if you've been in previous ISEC conferences where we used to talk about these hypothetical scenarios, that what if tomorrow ISEC was to stop doing exchanges? And guess what? It is happening today, that the exchanges are not that feasible, and that hypothetical scenario is today real. But the thing is that BD is basically building partnerships, and it can never be irrelevant. And ISEC today is still as relevant. So BD is not really hard. It is hard. It is challenging, but it is actually evolving today. So just some of the challenges that we are facing as BD Commission or partnerships in general is that new partners, where are they going? Because again, this is a time where all kinds of businesses are being affected and all kinds of organizations are being adversely affected. So if we as BD people are approaching them, we are probably not getting the responses that we were used to in the past. So how you as different profiles can probably help your BDs or empathize with them is, how many of you actually have alumni and friends currently working in MNCs or companies that could be potential ISEC partners? And I want to ask it from you, like in the chat. Don't have to name the names, but do you have any friends that you know or alumni that are working in big MNCs that could be potential partners? I think all of us know some people who are definitely working at well-established places that could have potential partnerships scope. So the thing is that we kind of keep BD isolated usually, that okay, BD is building partnerships, new sales is BD's role, but we as all kind of different profiles actually can support BD to really make it happen. And in this challenging time, when approaching entirely new companies, entirely new leads, entirely cold contacts is really challenging, having such support could really, really help us right now. Okay, when it comes to budget cuts with partners, a lot of you will relate to this. There are companies that are cutting their budgets entirely, like with ISEC 0%, it's 100% cut. And then there are companies that are probably cutting a major part of it. There are companies that are also not that much affected, but it is happening right now. So are you still focusing on keeping long-term partnerships? Because we have to still understand that even though the budget cuts are happening, that doesn't mean that we entirely ignore those partnerships. Your BD responsible's job, your BD responsible's resources might be affected a little bit, because if it's not directly bringing in revenue, they might not be giving that much attention to it. But you as different profiles can keep an eye open to how you can still bring up initiatives to keep those partnerships engaged. Because in the end, it is not just about building partnerships or creating new partnerships or bringing in new partners or having more contracts, new contracts signed. It is actually about if you're able to sustain those partnerships for longer term. Because if you think about all the big partnerships that we currently have at the global scale, it is actually because we were able to keep them for the longer term, and then it builds the scope of upselling and then upscaling and then probably even expanding to other markets. And how can you sustain these partnerships that have been standing with you if there are cases that the partners have entirely cut the budgets from ISEC's collaboration? How can you still have some engagements with them? How can you still keep them engaged with ISEC so that when the time comes, when the situation gets better, it will get better. You can still kind of have that momentum going. And how can you support your BD with keeping these long-term partnerships, like I said? And then we have shifted partnerships focuses. Okay, so there might be entities in the Zoom call that have been more GB centric in the past, and a lot of your partnerships might have been centered around global volunteers or having these projects. But now, when exchange is not that much feasible or that much in the near future for you, how are you able to handle the shift from exchange projects? Are you keeping your synergies with marketing? Are you keeping your synergies with TM to kind of come up with new areas of collaboration, which is my next point as well, alternate areas of collaboration? Are you keeping your eyes and ears open to opportunities? When you talk with your team and you hear them talking about, okay, I have a friend, I was having this conversation with a friend in, let's say, Acer, and are you keeping your eye and ear open to, okay, your team has a contact in Acer that could probably lead to a future partnership? So it's things like this where I'm saying that every single one of you needs to be partnership minded. Okay, now we have a very interesting space for you. It is stories from the region, and we have a few GCPs. First, I would like to invite Jika from ISEC in the Philippines to share with us some of her good case practices that she's doing in ISEC in the Philippines. So Jika, are you here?
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm kicking. Hello, everyone. Okay, so let me share how we've been capitalizing on our network in ISEC and the Philippines. So let me start with alumni relations. So next slide. Okay, so that's just a screenshot of our meeting last August. So we were able to meet with what do you call this? The ISEC Alumni Philippines Executive Board. And honestly, it's been a while since we had like a legitimate system for alumni relations, and we were able to get so many insights from that 3-hour call. I think I was with Ema, and I think what we have to realize is that alumni relations, they're definitely a rich resource of information, of wisdom, and even network. So these are essentially lifelong connections, and they really want to pay it forward, and we have to give them that platform for them to be involved with us again. And I guess there's no denial that because of COVID, like a lot of our members' experiences were formally cut. So we also do invite them to be involved in our national education cycle or even in our commission spaces. And what's great about alumni relations also is that because the alumni, they already trust us because we are ISECers. And I've actually experienced like accidentally meeting with alumni in meetings. Like I remember saying, hi, I'm Jiko, I'm from ISEC in the Philippines. And then the partner goes, oh, I'm actually an alumni. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really small world. And I think we really have to also maximize the fresh alumni as well because they are a potential market for partnerships. Like I remember meeting with PwC and they asked us, how many graduates do you guys have? And I realized that we have been underestimating like the potential with fresh alumni. So yeah, you guys should pursue your own system for alumni relations. Okay, so moving forward. So last month, we were also able to do our Philippine Festival of Youth Action, which was in partnership with so many organizations. So you have JCI Philippines, you have Rotaract, and a lot more. And even if this partnership or this event wasn't exactly revenue generating, it was really great PR because I think a lot of us, we tend to get so excited to get revenue, but all the partners actually ask like, what have you guys done in the past? And with this event, we were able to expose the ISEC brand to so many regions in the Philippines that we couldn't do on our own. So I really think with this initiative, it really goes to show that PR is also worth investing. It's not just BD's job; it's also PR's job. So yeah, those are my GCPs.
Thank you
Shout out
so
to
much,
you.
Tika. Okay, next up we have Isaac in Indonesia. Andy, are you in the house?
Yes, I'm here.
Yay!
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Andy. I'm from Indonesia. I'm currently MCBPPR. Next to me, yeah, so just a little bit background, the strategy that we're actually focusing on our PR is actually external relevance and how we can actually bring the impact that we deliver at work or the passionate leadership experience that we deliver as well. So that's why we tend to actually make a collaboration with the purposeful partnerships and personal partners. That's why we initiate several strategy on PR as well. I agree with Jika that PR is really, really useful to actually build a portfolio and also for the business development portfolio as well. That's why our BD mindset is actually delivering by that activities. And for the first, the past for the past quarters, we have initiated the collaborations, basically alliances with UN bodies. I think this is something that we can actually innovate because like UN bodies is one of the stakeholders that's really, really important for ISAC because like we advocate the SDGs with them since 2015. And yeah, this is the initiative that we actually do before the term actually going on. We have the SDGs design competition going on with them to actually advocate SDGs into more fun way. And then we have the SDGs campaign towards our member in our conferences, and we invite them as the judges to actually advocate with them. And this is a very, really good PR strategy for you guys. And the next one is the external representation. So I send my MCPs to talk externally and to introduce Isaac and to actually being a mentor and being for a startup competition. It's called the Startup Weekend. Maybe you know in your country you have Startup Weekend as well. So we actually collaborate with the startup incubator as well, so that we can actually so that they can actually have volunteers with us, but we actually can have a PR strategy to be represent ISAC as a registered organization, talking in a very spaces. And then next. Thank you, Sumi. As for the media partnership with IDN as well, this is a very good thing as well, because like the media value that we're actually working with IDN is actually worth for 600 millions Indonesian rupiah. And the collaboration is very, very purposeful. This is one thing that I want to emphasize, that every time you actually create a partnership, then make sure that you have a maintenance that is really purposeful to actually engaging your partner. For example, that we know that journalism and also the media partnership, journalism and partnerships and media partnership is really lacking in our network, and we invite them to actually educate our members. And turns out our members are really excited to have the classes with them, and also the media is also very, very fulfilled to actually know that our members are really excited to working with them. And we just expand that, we just expand that our partnerships is more purposeful than just understand MOU or like something like that. And we know that our leadership experience is actually can be inclusive towards them as well. And next. Okay. As for Isaac in Indonesia, we have the program. This is the strategic alliance. This is a strategy of strategic alliances that called Indonesia Impact Circle. If you notice that Isaac Indonesia is currently developing this kind of strategic alliances, this is a forum of SDGs discussion and campaign as a collaborative space with community, medias, and partners. And the last quarter is we make this kind of collaborative space as a one thing that we actually deliver towards the Impact Circle as well. We invite them to actually discuss about SDGs, that we actually knowing that ISAC is also advocating SDGs and its impact and its indicators towards this kind of thing. Because like we believe in Indonesia that when we actually talking about SDGs, validate that leadership excellence we deliver those exchanges, and in a way of being resilient. We know that this kind of activity could be actually this kind of activity could be beneficial for our reputations, for our impact delivery, and so far and so on. And we make a campaign. We make campaign SDGs is very inclusive and fun way, and a very good package. So if you know, so if you happen to actually find this kind of opportunity to make a strategic alliances to talking about SDGs like 4GG and its indicators with expertise, also you can connect with UN and so far and so on. That will be very great actually for your reputational strategy. And this is a very good portfolio for the video as well because we're delivering impact and we can actually make it a very packaged one. So yeah, I think that is all from Indonesia. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Andy. Okay, so next up we have Isaac in Malaysia. So Gia, are you in the house?
Hello everyone, I'm Jai from Isaac in Malaysia. So actually what Isaac in Malaysia want to bring out is actually co-creating and maximize the value to adapt to the partnership focus. So maybe you can give to next slide. Yeah. So basically what Isaac in Malaysia do is customization, because what we do is what we think only customization can outbring the value of partnership, because no matter how, we still need to have the relevancy in the community. So for example, how we do with Nestle is we actually, you can see this is the proposal that we do for them, because what Nestle Malaysia is focusing on, which is leadership development and also SDG based focus. So how we can know about this, right, is through the sales conversation in the meeting, or even like any follow-up meetings after the session. And also we do read their annual report. Every single partnership, we will read their annual report, because to make sure ourselves is actually internally driven and externally relevant, and to really understand what is the partner's needs and what is the partner's focus in their company focuses. Yeah. And then also after, like, the things that you can see here, how we customize is that after we know that they are actually SDG based focus, right? So coincidentally and very purposefully, we also have one project which is Speak Up that target on SDG number 4, quality education. And in Nestle, they do have one product called Drumstick, which is also represent brave, speak bravely and also be brave to be yourself, is actually very value aligned to Speak Up project. So that's why we actually will customize it into this, and then only we are actually co-creating the impacts with Nestle together as well. So after we done the proposal itself, what we do is definitely go and get the feedback and advice how we can do better, and do you think this is make sense for your company. And I think one thing that I really want to sum out the whole things that Isaac in Malaysia do is always, because Sumi, you can go to the next slide, which is people don't buy what you do, but they buy why we do it. So relevancy actually come after we bring the value to the community and the society that we serve. We need, like, as a Isaac, we need to internally driven and externally relevant, then only we can actually serve the community that we are having the place and having the things in that nation itself. Yeah. So just to sum up everything, whatever we do, PR or sales or partnership, we need to be more relevant to the community that we serve with. Yeah, that's all from Isaac Malaysia. Thank you, everyone. I hope you learned something.
Thank you so much, Jay. Okay, so now you know, if you want to talk about alumni relations and PR or customization, who to approach. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can approach them. We don't have any times for questions, but for the last time, I will break you out not for 10 minutes, but for 6 minutes. And it will be shorter breakout rooms this time. And you will be discussing how can you support your BD better in terms of like connections, deliverables, market research, or any other thing. And also, what kind of partnership do you think that your entity or your LC needs at the moment? And what would be the first step towards that? So I'm going to open the rooms. Okay, so in the end, I would just like to end it with a dramatic quote, but which is absolutely true, that BD is not a role on your team. It is actually a mindset, and it's a mindset that all of us need right now in different roles, not just your BD person, but all of us. And I don't know if you have any questions or you would like to ask anything with the people who shared their GCPs or anything. So I can have like 1 or 2 minutes for that. Mhm. Okay, I will take it as a no. Okay, all clear, guys. Thank you so much. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn as BD centric as it can be, or on Instagram. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And we will see you in the next session, I guess. Yeah.